Good evening. Hopefully I'm on the right page, because this is what it looks like when you've literally just woken up off the couch, realised it's 5 to 7 and you've got to go upstairs and do a live that you have no preparation for. So welcome to my world at the moment, folks. So I'm not going to fill you full of bullshit and pretend that I was completely prepared for this, because I'm not. So I'm just going to go with it. But this is really quite an easy one for me. And I want to start by just saying that this is prompted by a simple question, this live. And I think simple really works in the business world. I don't like overcomplicated. So I'm going to start by introducing myself for anybody who drops on here that doesn't know who I am. I'm Mandy Nicholson, and I am an artist, author, and a creative genius consultant, and I help female entrepreneurs to launch or grow their creative business and make more money. And I've just woken up, so there you go. There's a lot happening in my life at the moment. My husband is very sick in hospital, for those of you that don't know me, so times are a little bit tough, but life goes on and business goes on. So this live was prompted by the simple question, and a question that you've probably heard thousands of times in your lifetime, particularly when you were little. You'll have heard it all the way through from probably 4 or 5 years old right through to your teen years. And that's, what do you want to be when you grow up? And when we were young, we had this big idea of all the things that we could potentially be. And as you go through the schooling system, it's kind of squashed out of you, because you have this great vision of what you see yourself doing when you're a grown-up. And wouldn't it be great if life was that simple and we could just follow that dream right throughout our life? Some people do, and I think that's awesome when they do, and it's really genuinely heart-centered and soul-centered, and it's what they've always wanted to do. So if you asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I could never pin it down to be one thing. I wanted to be an artist, and I wanted to be an author, and I wanted to be a sculptor, and I wanted to be a teacher, and I wanted to be this, and I wanted to be 100 different things. And I couldn't wrap my mind around that you had to pick one. So that left me with a bit of confusion, because you're told you've got to pick one. And yes, to a certain extent you do. And then I say no. And this is where I am slightly different. I haven't just introduced myself as an artist, an author, and a creative genius consultant. But you can't always do that when you're inexperienced. So I always wanted to be an artist. It's all I ever wanted to do when I was little. And you'll all have had the same thing, this dream. And what I would like you to think about tonight is when you stopped having that dream and reality took over and you changed direction or changed path, and whether that left you feeling like there was something undone, something that you hadn't achieved, and then how that made you feel. So that's really the concept behind this live tonight. Because what happens when we don't follow our dreams and we end up doing something else is that we can feel like we've failed. And we then can describe ourselves in that terminology. And what I want to go through tonight is the fact that you are never ever a failure. It's impossible for you to be a failure. No human being on this earth is a failure, because it can't happen. An event may fail, something may fail, but a person doesn't fail. They just learn a lesson and move on to the next thing. So you're never a failure. You're just constantly learning and evolving, and that's what we were created to do. And that's why we've evolved to the level that we are at now, is we've evolved because we learn. We're a learning being. So there is no such thing as failure. There is just constant progression. So when I look at my, and I've talked about this many times, and I will talk about it many times more, my series of unfortunate events that happened to me, and it's now 11 years since that happened. I've been saying 10 years for over a year now. It's now 11 years since my series of unfortunate events, and it was a consistent series of really unfortunate things that happened in my life that took me from a level of abundance to rock bottom. Now, never once in that period of time did I look at myself and consider myself a failure. I just moved on and adapted and changed so that I could keep going in my life and in my business and rebuild my life. And I certainly did that, because last year I bought this house for cash. But never have I described myself as a failure. And it actually breaks my heart when people describe themselves as a failure, because it just doesn't exist. So let's go back to, what did you want to do when you grow up? Are you all doing right now the job, or are you operating the business that you always wanted to do from childhood, or from as long as you can remember? And if not, why not? What stopped you? What was it that stopped you doing what you really wanted to do when you grew up? What is it that held you back from following that path, from following that dream? Because it is all about following a dream. And how do you make it happen if it's still what you want to do? And that's why I put this on the table, because that's exactly what I did. I went from only ever wanting to be an artist, art teacher, writer, all things creative, to working in retail for 25 years because I got a proper job. I couldn't get a job in the creative community, so I compromised and I got a proper job, and I stopped following my dream. But my dream didn't stop following me, because it sat with me in my heart and in my soul, like a constant voice nagging you saying, you really want to be doing this. This doesn't feel right, Mandy. You want to be doing something else. And even though that voice was there, I kind of ignored it because I achieved a certain level of success in the job that I was doing. And part of what I always wanted to do involved people. And because I was working in a job that involved people, then I kind of got over myself and put the dream in the back of the filing cabinet and left it there. But it used to pop up every now and again and shout at me. And it's really difficult to make that decision. I understand that. And I can understand if you're thinking that right now. It's really difficult to make that sort of decision to follow your dream or what's pulling you, because it's scary. And everything that we have is rooted in fear. It's rooted in our fear of failure. And I've just told you can't fail. It's rooted in our fear of success. What will happen if we're really successful and everything changes for us and it's not what we know? But growth can only happen outside of your comfort zone, because your comfort zone keeps you safe and warm. And it's only when you step out of that that you really grow as a person. And I posted yesterday about fuck it moments. And those are the moments in life where you just say, do you know what? I don't care what people think. I don't care if I don't fit in. I don't care if I look a bit weird and wacky. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to follow my dream and follow my heart. And when you really truly say that, massive exponential change can happen in your life, because none of it matters. All that matters is that you are doing what brings you real joy every single day. And that's a big leap to make for most people, because most of us want to stay safe. What do you want to do when you grow up? So one of the things I'd like you to do, if you feel like doing an activity, is to write that down. What was it that you wanted to do when you grow up? What was it that was the thing of your dreams? What was the job of your dreams, the business of your dreams, the place to live of your dreams, the house of your dreams? What was it? What did you used to dream about? And it's so important to really get clarity about where you are now and whether it's really where you want to be. Because clarity equals power. And when you feel powerful as a human being and you feel like you are in control and that you are going for your dreams, it is very easy to take the action to get you there. And this is the important thing. Action is the antidote to failure and to fear. Action changes everything. So perhaps you want to take singing lessons. Well, wanting to take singing lessons is just wishing it and thinking about it. Getting on the internet and finding a singing lesson teacher that lives locally and booking a lesson, that's action. Wanting to be an artist and just talking about it for 25 years is just paying lip service. Picking up a paintbrush and a pen, pencil, and drawing and painting is action. And that's what changes things. Action is the antidote to everything. It's the antidote to fear. It's the antidote to sitting in your comfort zone. It's the antidote to complacency. It's the antidote to sitting in that job that you don't like very much and that you've been in for 20 years and that you wish you weren't in. Action changes everything. So if you say you want to get fit and you don't do anything about it, you're not going to get fit. If you say you want to get fit and you go and book an hour's induction at the gym and pay your membership, that's taking action. If you say you want to be rich, but you don't take any action about that, and you don't change the mundane job and you don't take a risk in a business, then that's potentially never going to change either. When you look at what's out there in the society, on social media, on the internet at the moment, everybody is telling you, you must do this, you must do that, you must dominate a niche, you must have a niche. But it's not all you have to have. You can be anything you choose. Now, I am very niche in that I coach creative women to launch their creative business and make more money. I'm very good at that. But I'm also an artist and I'm also an author. I'm also anything else I choose to be. But that's because I've already landed the niche and have a product that serves that niche and I know what that is and I speak to that client. So it is always advisable to do one thing. And many people have said to me over the years, Mandy, just do one thing. Stop trying to fit in. Stop trying to do more than one thing, Mandy. And I'm at the point of, do you know what? I'll do what I want. I'm at the fuck it moment in my life where I'm just going to do what I want. But very much honour and take pride in the fact that I have a niche. So I want you to take a piece of paper, one piece of paper and a pen. And I want you to write on the top of that piece of paper, what do I really want to be doing? What do I really want to be doing? And then I want you to just write. Write it, don't stop, don't look at it, don't think, what do I really want to be doing? And I want you to write and I want you to fill a full page of A4 paper. Just fill it. Fill it with what you really want to be doing right now in your life. Forget everything else that's happening. Literally forget everything. What do I really want to be doing? And fill that piece of paper. And I want you to do that today and I want you to do it tomorrow. And then I want you to have a look at what comes up on that piece of paper in a recurring way. What's mentioned the most? What one thing are you writing down subconsciously that you want to do right now the most? You might think you know what it is, but it's possibly not what you think it is. And I want you to relax before you do that and really take a little bit of time to zone out, to untune your mind to all that's going on with coronavirus and in society at the moment and the pain and the deaths and everything that's happening, because we're all suffering with that. We're all struggling with that. But if you're going to move forward after this, and you're going to perhaps rebuild something or re-enter something or do something different with your life, because this is your factory reset. Coronavirus is your factory reset. This is your opportunity to do what you wanted to do when you grow up. So do this activity. Don't just listen to me and pay it lip service. Sit down. What do I really want to be doing right now? What is it that I really want to do? Write it on the paper and just free write for a couple of days. Get that out of your head. And let's just have a look at what occurs from that. And when you can identify the recurring pattern, the thing that keeps coming up again and again and again, extract that from your pieces of paper and put that onto a new piece of paper and start to make a plan. Make your plan specific, make it measurable, and then take action. Make your plan specific, make it measurable, and then take action. So if you do that activity over a couple of days, and actually, you know, if you did it over 3 or 4 days, you'd get even better results. If you can find 10 minutes a day to sit down and fill an A4 piece of paper of what you really want to be doing, you'll get a better result, because the same recurring theme will come up and it'll give you a clue. The universe leaves us clues. We just have to look for them and listen. Okay, and then once you've got your recurring theme, you need an action plan. This will tell you what your heart and soul really wants to do. This will extract that, what you want to do. What did you want to do when you grow up that you were asked so many times as a child? The lucky ones amongst us that decided they wanted to be doctors or nurses from being 3 years old and never changed and became doctors and nurses, you know, are doing a wonderful job for us today. And aren't we glad that those people chose those careers? Because they are amazing. And some people, like I said at the start, are very lucky that they've done that. But many of us are in jobs that we are unhappy in. We are doing things that are not working for us. We've ended up in things. It's by default, and it's not bringing us money and wealth and joy and happiness. And ultimately, that's why we do anything. Why would you do something that doesn't bring you those things? So that was my message for tonight. I wanted to make it fairly short and sweet tonight and just remind you that it's okay to have big dreams. Last week I talked a lot about vision, and this week I wanted to really bolt on to that subject matter itself, because we're in a time of, this is a surreal time for us. It's like an apocalypse. It's very different. We've never experienced this before. It's a time of decision making. It's a time of thinking. It's a time of assessing, are we doing the right things? It's a time of thinking about whether we want to go back and do the very things we were doing before this happened, because we're going to come out the other side different. We're going to be different people. We're going to have different relationships. Some of us may have lost people. Some of us may have a very different family dynamic, having not seen our families for potentially months on end. How that is going to impact us in the long term, none of us know. So why would we not be doing something that we have always wanted to do but never had the courage to actually go ahead and do? And that's what I wanted to encourage you to think about tonight, and to encourage you to do, is to find that thing that sets your soul on fire, that really sets you alight, that makes you feel again and feel like there's hope, and feel like there's something stunning and shiny and wonderful in the future because it's something you've always wanted to do. And if I can do that, you can do it. And I did it just over a year ago. I changed my entire life on a whim to go and do the thing that I wanted to do when I grew up. And I would love to see some of you people do the same thing and make that decision in this period of time, because it will change you forever. It will change those around you forever, and it will fulfill you more than you've ever known. Take that big leap. Step into the act of courage. Remember, Most importantly, clarity equals power. Once you're clear and you feel clear, you take back the power and you become powerful in whatever you want to do. So that was my little, I'm trying to shorten my trainings over the next few weeks because everybody's bombarded at the moment with internet stuff. There's loads and loads of free training out there. There's loads of people jumping on that don't normally do training and now doing training. So you don't want to sit and listen to me for an hour. I just want to turn up with some words of wisdom and words of advice that can take you through this and out the other end feeling wonderful and doing better. And that's all I've got for tonight. And thank you very much for listening. Please do the activity. And if you get a message coming through in that activity, I would love to know. So pass that back to me. Send me a message, drop me a direct message and say, I did that and it worked and this is what I need to do. And if you need any advice on that, you know where I am. Have a wonderful evening and enjoy the rest of your week and really dig deep to find that place of dreams that you had when you were a child. Evening, good evening, love and colour from me.